let me get to the Zoom. Let me speak to my very good friend Jon Boafo. He's in Abidjan. I don't even know what John looks like this morning. I don't know whether he has slept. But yeah, let's get to the Zoom. John, good morning. How are you doing?
Morning. I'm good. I'm only running on 3 hours of sleep, but we have to do what we have to do.
I see you. You look like somebody who has been partying all night. Correct me if I'm wrong, but anyway, let's talk about people like you, the fans, and the millions of other fans who were at the ground or watched on TV and spilled over into the street. How was Abidjan after the game?
So the game was in Yamoussoukro, and getting out of the stadium was very hectic, but it was electric, and everyone was very excited about the win. You could see from the people who lived in and around the stadium came out in the streets. Everyone was just up everyone is just up and enjoying it and celebrating. So that was really fantastic to see the sea of orange jerseys and everyone, all the fans which were there to support the Ivory Coast team. So really, like, it's just scenes of jubilation, and people were so excited about this result. But I think it's also good for AFCON that Ivory Coast went to the next stage. I know that you, Nathan, you were for Senegal, and I happened.
I was Team Senegal.
Team Senegal, and I happened to actually be sitting with the Senegalese COP, and they really were so passionate about their team. For over 120 minutes, they literally did not sit down. They were clapping, they were dancing, they were making so much noise to the point where I couldn't hear the whistle. The only time that I heard the whistle literally was at the end for the penalty kicks, because it was close to our side. But you couldn't hear the PA system. You couldn't hear anything. You could just only hear the jubilation and the noise from the Senegalese side. So it's kind of sad to see the defending champions to go out, but I mean, you could not have scripted this. Ivory Coast played so well, not in the first half, more in the second half. And like Kwame said earlier on, it's the changes that Emerse Faye came with. And, we're now behind him. In Emerse Faye, we trust. Hopefully he'll be able to lead us all the way to the final. But one last thing, the president of Ivory Coast, known as Alassane Ouattara, said after that 4-0 loss that to despair is not an Ivorian thing, and we could see the response from the Ivorian team. They took it at heart. They really took it at heart, and they wanted to be able to perform for their fans. And even at 1-0, there was a sense that even if they had lost 1-0, they would have done their best, because they were dominating possession, like you said earlier, like Kwame said earlier. They were doing their best to try to push. And at one point, people started getting a bit discouraged, because they were doing all they could, but the goals were not coming. And in the end, it came with the penalty. And, Kessié also took 2 penalties and saved the team as well.
I see. You talked about the fans and where you were. Can you just give me an idea of the evolution of the emotion? Because you were close to the Senegalese and you saw the Ivorian fans. Can you just run me through how everybody's emotions were at several points in the game? So 1-0 Senegal, 1-1 Côte d'Ivoire, the drama of extra time, and then the penalty shootout. How were people reacting to the things that were happening in the game?
So being with the Senegalese fans, from the beginning, they were just kind of taunting the Ivorians, saying that, we're here, we're going to beat you 2-0. This is our home, Senegal, and here, this is our home. We're going to be able to beat you. And the goal that came early in the match really calmed down the Ivorian fans. At the beginning, they were there chanting, supporting the team, but at 1-0, you felt like they were apprehensive. They didn't want to get another 4-0 drubbing like they did in the last game. but little by little, you could see some confidence be rebuilt. And funny enough, when the likes of Sébastien Haller, Kessié, or even Simon Adigra came on, well, actually, even before they came on, while they were warming up, everyone was just shouting the names, really excited about them coming through. Especially Kessié, the last game that he had was quite poor, so his reaction was fantastic. The 2 goals that he scored in the penalties as well. So at 1-0, the Senegalese had an upper hand. At 1-1, the Senegalese were still pushing. They said to themselves, okay, listen, it is what it is. They'll still win 2-1. And then at 2-1, at the penalties, they were still pushing. They were still excited and supporting the team. But after the game, you could see the devastation on their faces. I've never seen as many adult women and men crying.
Wow.
They were just there sitting very distraught. And thankfully, the Senegalese team, some of the players, including Mane, came to salute the fans, and I thought that was fantastic. It showed some kind of connection between the Senegalese fans and the players, and that's something that I believe that you can't be created out of nothing. Some other teams in Africa should probably take a pointer there, and yeah.
Interesting thoughts. So, John, just run us through the emotions post game. We've seen some of the videos, we've seen some of the pictures, but we cannot imagine how it was living that experience. So how was it like? You know, you mentioned that it was tough getting out of the stadium. So how was Yamoussoukro? I'm sure you got to Abidjan, you know, not too long after the game. How was Abidjan reacting? And how is Abidjan this morning? How are people still soaking in the drama from last night?
So this morning, it seems like everyone is tired. It seems like everyone is running at a slower pace.
Okay. Is it a regular day? Have you guys been giving a holiday?
No, yeah, it's a regular day.
Okay.
But I've seen a lot of Burkina Faso jerseys. I know that they played today. So a lot of people have been are going to support them. And I've also seen a lot of Moroccan jerseys because of the favor that they did for Ivory Coast to allow them to be in the next stage. But last night, like I said, when we got out of the stadium, people were in the streets jumping around, blowing the whistles, vuvuzelas, really just elated at the fact that...
Was some song on rotation?
Yes. So the Tamsir song was on rotation. People were there just dancing. You could see that the passion for the football and the passion for the support for the Ivorian team was a genuine thing. So it's not something that can be made. And you could see that people were really there to encourage the team, and they were genuinely happy. And I hope that the Ivorian team can continue to make the fans proud and to continue to ensure that this AFCON is something that they can be proud of, and hopefully go all the way to the final and win it as well. I mean,
final question. Have you heard are there any reactions from players, Immense Faye, maybe President Ouattara? What kind of reactions have been put out by those who were heavily involved in the game last night?
So from what I've seen, the President Ouattara has called the team to congratulate them. And then I also saw actually from Mane, who he came out to say that the best team won. And I think that he was right in that Senegal was the best team. Debrief from Emerse Faye himself because we had to make it down from Yamoussoukro back to Abidjan. It's about a 2-hour or 3-hour trip. But even when we got back at 2 a.m, people in Abidjan were still out in the streets celebrating. So I don't think there'll be that much productivity in Abidjan and the rest of the country today. But it's good for the heart as well.
All right, John. Thank you very much. Félicitations à la Côte d'Ivoire and amusez-vous bien.
Merci bien et puis à bientôt.
All right, à plus. All right, so that was Jon Boafo, sports analyst. He's based in Abidjan, giving us a very interesting feel of how things went last night. Let's